Hey guys, welcome along to Find for People, the online platform that helps you find the best in health, sports, and fitness. Today we're talking with Omar Al Duri, and he's got some mean insights, and he's actually got a new book out. Boom! Check it out. I think this is, well, I'm going to claim it, even though it may not be, the exclusive interview with the man. Yes! So we're going to find out more about that in a few seconds, right after this.
Will be next month. I need to actually figure out what day it is.
Hey guys, welcome back to Find for People. We are on it.
Bam! That's when you know we're live. That's when you know we're live.
He's a DJ himself. He works out at Sharjah Radio, and he does the cool thing out there. You can see it on his head as well. That's the halftime show.
Shameless plug.
Himself, shameless plug. Hey bro, all of that shameless right here.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
No, bro, awesome. Thank you again. For you.
Okay.
Let me switch over.
Bam.
Let's go off the bat. Let's start with your book. It's new. It's just been. Well, you told me a story off it. Let's tell that story.
Yeah. So it's been 15 years of studying and putting together and allocating, all the information and knowledge. But actually, the book is simplifying the health and fitness industry. That's why we call it a health and fitness passport. Yeah. It seems to be quite overcomplicated, oversaturated industry when it comes to the information and how overwhelmed we get by all the different opinions. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, simplifying it is kind of the best way forward. And for me, rather than change, which a lot of people are kind of, let's say, afraid of, reset is something we can all do. So that's where it came off about in terms of the title. And instead of chapters, we've picked dominoes because most of the time we actually are better off than we think, and we think there's a lot of things wrong with us, but there isn't. So each domino resembles a chapter that I believe is important to sustain longevity in a healthy lifestyle. And sometimes we get, let's say, 4 out of 5, but there's one thing that's kind of knocking it over. That's the chain reaction when it comes to the domino effect.
What was the moment, the spark plug for you? They went, I'm going to write a book and this is what I'm going to write about.
That's a good question. I think for me, the tough thing, it wasn't even that. To me, it's I've always wanted to do something that I can actually give back to the community, and also give back to someone that is curious like I was and made a lot of mistakes in my career when it comes to just learning and understanding health and fitness. Training the mind is key, and that's something that I highlight in the book. I focus on mental fitness, mental health, which is coming to the surface nowadays. Back in the day, we couldn't really talk about it as much because it wasn't cool enough, what I mean? So that's one of the chapters. The mental game and the battle that we have within our own is kind of the hardest battle before we approach anything else. And then you've got obviously the training aspect. You've got resetting your environment. People think they have to kind of get out to reset. You don't have to. You can just set and reset your environment and kind of make small subtle changes, which is, the book's got a lot of nuggets in there. It's kind of a nice light read. It's got good energy and nice little vibe to it. Mm-hmm. And you come away with it, when you wrap up with the book, there's a little gratitude journal at the end. And for your own personal experience, you say your takeaways. What I mean? Yeah. So you come away going, what, actually, I'm not as bad as I thought I was. I've got A, B, C, D, E, rather than what I don't have. Yeah. That's kind of like the idea. So, and there wasn't one specific moment for it, but it's been accumulating over years, and I have a lot of respect for authors now, because I said to you this off camera, I don't think I would write another one, because you put your heart and soul into one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It takes ages too.
Yeah, it took ages.
Took a while ago. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's the concept behind Reset.
Okay, cool. Do you have a favorite page? A favorite page in the book?
Whoa.
You've been asked that one before?
I haven't. I have been asked that before.
Just so you guys know, it's about 100 and what?
129 pages.
There you go.
Yeah. I know that part.
Just
yeah.
double check it.
16,000 words if you really want to know.
Break it down.
Yeah, man. No, I think there's something for everyone. There's some sketches in there, just like a feel-good factor. I had someone who drew some sketches for me. The nutrition side, I actually had a chef. Shout out to Chef Coco. I had a chef who actually drew everything out with food, like the grains, the different kind of nutritional plans we hear, keto, paleo, endomorph, ectomorph, all these kind of things. He drew out every single nutrition plan with food, grains, salts, oils, vegetables, which is really cool. So we tried to give that experience where the person can see it visually rather than read about it, because a lot of people get lost in that.
Totally.
So I think, just so no one gets upset with me, there's many parts of nice things in that book, but there's a gratitude journal at the end, as I said, and there's the small details that took a while to process. Yeah.
But I'm going to give a bit of you because, for whatever reason, it's beautiful, nice. And I said when you came in, brother, I was talking about what's it like to have your face on the book.
Oh, man. You know what? I actually...
Great photo, bro. Nice kid.
Awesome. Man,
cool.
To be honest, I'll tell you, in the process of it, the publisher said, you got to get your face on the book, and I was like, nah, I don't. That's one thing I don't want to do. Yeah, if I'm being very honest, that's something I said I don't want to do. But we kind of came to a median, and I said, all right, I'll put it at the back just so that people can identify who the author is. But yeah, that's something I didn't really want to do. If I'm being very honest, yeah.
But the thing with, we talk about any kind of brand, and you grow, and people like these days, and I'm watching some more stuff about how people connect with people, and they want to connect with a person, they don't want to connect with a thing so much.
Yeah.
So you've got, you're going to understand it, but I know what you mean as well.
Yeah, and I've never been that men's health front cover guy. I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. You've done that. But for me, I can't.
Maybe, bro.
Yeah, last week. But I save that for the people that are fit for that, are suitable for that. That's a different skill set. My skill set, I understand what my strengths are, and obviously I try to kind of focus on that rather than my image kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is
cool, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's put out a section because. Bro, I'm super inspired by what you've done with the book.
Thank you.
It's awesome. And obviously you talk about the five dominoes. Not that I want to pick out one that's better than the other.
Yeah.
But what do you think lands more with people? Well, it's going to land, for say, sorry, it's going to land.
Yeah, I think the page on the mental side of it. The chapter on mental health, mental fitness. When it comes to like physically trying to feel better or look better, you can go to a gym and that's kind of your space. But when it comes to your mind, you really don't have a place to go to. You kind of have to set your own place up, and that's the place of challenge, that's the place of comfort, that's the place of development, and all these things. Like I said, it's coming into the surface now because whether it's an athlete or whether it's just a person who does a 9 to 5, we all have the same struggle, and you're given a lot and you're blessed with a lot, and then all of a sudden one day your mind's telling you that that's it, I'm not as good as I was, or I'm not as peak as I was, and all that kind of but the truth is like that is the biggest challenge I think a lot of people face. And nowadays the good thing is a lot of people are speaking about it and coming out and talking about it, which makes it okay for the younger generation to be able to absorb that information and not let it distort their vision of where they want to get to. It's a key thing, and it's something that a lot of the times once they call it the silent killer when it comes to mental health, because people don't voice their feelings, especially on the men's side. And then when you look at things like athletes, they're given all this exposure, and especially now in the modern day with technology and social media and everything, they're given all of that, and then all of a sudden there's someone faster, cooler, better looking, whatever it is, you're just pushed to the side. And that's kind of something which for me I relate to, which a lot of people probably won't understand, in terms of, in this book I put my heart and soul into it because I went through phases where I won stuff, I was happy. I won stuff, I did good things, and then all of a sudden, bam, as relevant, you probably I felt like I didn't fit in the industry, and I've struggled with that in the sense because it's always changing, it's always evolving, and staying relevant is really hard. But then what I realize is the moment you accept what your strengths are and what you're good at, you don't have to compete and people will then say, you know what,
Cool.
fair enough, man, like
Yeah.
hats off to you. Then they start to appreciate you when you're out of the game, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like in every sport, like I said, or everything. I always relate sport to life. People feel that, and you get that feeling of this book where when you're going through it, you resonate with certain things that I say, and hopefully people come away going, you know what, that's cool, man, I'm glad I read that now. You know.
It's very cool. Okay, we're gonna stick with that, but we're gonna come back after a short break, guys. The book is Reset. It's out. It's on sale. But we're gonna talk more about actually the book and about mental health, because that's been one of probably the big talking topics of the end of 2019 and definitely going into 2020. That coming up straight after this.
Nook is the region's first dedicated co-working space focused on helping sports and wellness entrepreneurs set up their own business. We have permission to issue up to 200 trade licenses across 40 different trading activities. You can work from any of the surfaces around us. We also have a mind-body studio as well as a functional training studio. I think the talent pool is growing. One of the unique things about Dubai, you have kind of an east meets west when it comes to sports. Dubai is a great window into the rest of the GCC. We've been very fortunate to work with different UAE authorities to get people to play more sport and to be more active in the UAE.
Hey guys, welcome back to Find Fit People, platform how to find the best in health, sports and fitness. We're here with Omar Al Duri. He's got his new book out, Reset, boom. And he's down here, you can't quite see on the camera, that's not alright. 5 dominoes that will change your life. We'll talk about one of those dominoes right now, is about mental health and wellness. And it's just quickly, we're going to talk about this off camera, but we're going to talk about on camera now. You guys hear this? And this one is just, it's funny, you've talked about it. There's so many, you plugged on it, where males definitely don't share as much as females, and there's a lot of guys that go through a lot of things, and I'll put my hand up straight away and be like, I've been through those phases as well, and we're going to talk about this together. Like I've been through the depression, I've been through those frustrations, those stresses that come with just everyday life.
Yeah.
It's affected my fitness side of it as
Absolutely.
well. So let's about your experiences.
Yeah. I mean, funny enough, that could be arguably one of the main dominoes if there was. We spoke about it earlier. The fact that it almost starts a chain reaction because you're not feeling good within yourself, and then obviously that gets projected out to your family, your friends, your closest people, your work, everything. It's kind of something that starts off with you, and it could be the smallest thing that kind of escalates it. And for me personally, having had my own business, having left everything back home to come to a new culture, a new place completely to set up, let's say, a dream of mine, which is my own training facility and everything. To lose that, all of a sudden you feel irrelevant, you feel like you can't help people anymore, you feel like you failed. All those people who portray Dubai and the UAE as, this image of a beautiful place is true.
There's money everywhere.
Yeah, to some extent. And then at the same time, you feel like, okay, I failed those people now. So what am I going to do? And how am I going to live up to that kind of failure? So you start to get depressed within yourself. And that was me. And then all of a sudden, you're not relevant anymore. And people kind of forget how many people you've helped, how many people you've spoken to, because we don't really talk about how many we help. We think about the next day and how we're going to try and make a positive change. For me, when I lost that, then all of a sudden I'm thinking, like, where'd you go from here, from being recognized as a coach, as someone that could actually make a difference, to no longer having the platform to do so. And then social media kicks in, bam, someone's out there already, and my mistake is I never took advantage of sponsorships, endorsements, all that kind of stuff, because at that time we didn't really have any. And so for me, I'm always actually asking you for advice when it comes to that, because you're the man when it comes to links and people and stuff like that. But
like if anyone else wants to throw me any gears, don't be
speak to this guy. No, but also because of your experience. So you've been there, and you've been on the highest of high, the levels. You have, yeah. You've trained, you've won competitions. I'm looking here, you got DFC, you got all these kind of things around. And that's big, so people tend to forget how massive that is. And for me, at that time, it was a transition phase where it was more about what you do on the ground rather than what you do on the screen. And I wasn't part of that. And then all of a sudden, I don't have that anymore. And I go to Africa for work there with the men's team. with the Ghana men's team, and then that's an experience because you don't have the resources you have in the UAE, but that means your skill set has to develop quick. You have to be sharp, and you have to do what's best for the team and not yourself. You know,
it's a massive thing. Like, thank you for the big talk up too.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I look
Yeah.
at it from the athletes, and I was thinking about athletes, and that's a big one that I probably noticed over the last 10 years. And I don't know if it was a good learning for me to go through, or just it happened. Something else happened. Like, yes, okay, I run these fitness competitions and stuff like that, and it was a bit of centre of the limelight kind of thing. Had the ball, and like yourself though, I didn't utilise it to a certain extent, but I didn't utilise that awareness. I want to say, to the extent where it continued.
Correct.
You know, I stepped away from it. Like I was trying other things as well as the competing, and again, same thing. Some business work, some business wouldn't, and had this up and down roller coaster, especially here in the UAE. And during those times, there's depression, but then, and I lost that connection with maybe the visual side or the awareness side of things, and then social media like it kicked in.
Yeah.
Like 5-6 years ago, pretty hard, and then if you weren't a part of social media, you just got lost. And I had this mentality of like, well, I didn't like social media personally, so I wasn't really into it, so I kind of stayed away from it, and then got caught in the dust of the vehicle that's just punching forward in life, you know. And now going forward, I do find, and if I'm very honest, the last year I really struggled to get back into the fitness or training in general. I mean, I'm just very fortunate that I'm
a fit guy. But what's it like to be like the fittest man, like winning an award like that, you know?
To be honest, for me, I didn't even consider it. Never, and I think that's why I lost touch of it, because for me, it's just doing what I did anyway, just doing what I love. I probably didn't appreciate it. I should have or could have back then. Yeah. And that's what maybe just kind of lose touch with it. I sort of just couldn't it's going to always be there.
Right.
You know, and then they're like, yeah, no worries, blah blah, and I never ever came close to considering myself like the fittest guy. I'm always saying, yeah, but there's always better. I just thought of myself as a part of the guys that have good fitness.
But when you're that high, is it harder to bridge the gap to your average Joe because you're that high in the fitness scene? If that makes sense.
I think I did. I enjoyed more the camaraderie atmosphere of whoever was moving whenever they were moving.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like me. Yes, I am competitive as an individual, but on a team, if there was someone who wasn't as good or something like that, I'd never like want to be down on them or anything like that.
Right.
I was always just very much focused. I had these blinkers on. I was just like, look, even if you're in a team, just do the best you can for yourself and the team.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the other guys will take care of themselves, kind of thing. Or
right. Yeah, I get that.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And so, and for me, they put me in a state of I just never thought I was that good. I didn't consider myself ever that good, to be honest. Never. And that's just, I've been very fortunate.
See, that's strange. That is strange. For me, that's strange to hear, because for you saying that, a key thing you said is camaraderie. The fitness scene, you know, you're going to come across one or two people, yes, that, you know, you will continue to build relationships with. But you said it best. You said, I just focused on what I had to do for myself, for the team, and then everything kind of fell in. Do you think there's much camaraderie in the fitness industry nowadays?
Good question.
Really right?
Good question. I'm glad you're a halftime show.
Hey, the halftime show, Pulse 95, Monday to Wednesday. Yeah.
It's really, I mean, I look back at that conversation between how CrossFit's taken this community idea and said, like, we're all about community. Well, when I look at fitness as a whole,
yes,
I think everyone's got a community out there. I personally don't see any difference between what CrossFit's doing besides Les Mills, Zumba, TRX. They're all building their own communities in their own certain ways.
But is that because you were one of the fittest people, so it was easier to be part of a community rather than someone that probably doesn't have your skill set to be in the community?
I think it's definitely easier from a point of view of the individual going into it. I mean, it's easier to connect. Maybe this is a life thing. When you're good at something, people want to. They're attracted to you. They
go, yeah,
come be on my team or come help me out.
Yeah.
You did this kind of thing. Obviously, if you're not in that boat, people kind of maybe just walk past you. They ignore you, type of thing. You're like a.
That's me. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Some people do, right?
Yeah,
so, like, I still get it now. I mean, to be honest, again, and like, I've got my own things or whatever, but I still get not embarrassed, but I'm definitely very humbled. If some people still come to me and go, "Hey champ, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Man, it's like thank you."
Yeah.
It was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely think with the community side thing, it is easier, and I think like with any kind of community though, it's easier to get involved with it. Do I think the community itself is better in one place or another? No, I think it's just got its own thing. It's like you've got these people that enjoy this, you've got these people that enjoy that. So that's what people get involved in. That's their community, you know. But there's no, I don't see the differences. I think held up with the home's where the heart's at, and if you enjoy where you're at, then that's the community, that's the strength of the community.
Right.
Right there. You know,
right.
So yeah, but it's definitely going back to here that I suppose that when you talk about community and mental health and wellness, there's if you don't get accepted into a space, you know, if you are that person, like I get it, okay, fitness, okay, I know I've played a lot of different sports, I've had times where, I still have it now actually, to be honest, if I do a fitness, a gym space, people are still coming to me and they're like, "Oh man, Grant, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
If I go kite surfing, I don't know as many people, definitely I struggle with that community feel, and there's all these kite surfers that are really good, they all hang out with each other.
Right.
I'm the guy on the beach just trying to get the thing to go. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's again, everything's different and relevant to what you're talking about, but with the community, there's all that kind of thing, right? So,
Yeah. And it's interesting you say that, the whole idea, because I was going through a little phase with mental health, and I don't claim to be an expert, but I'm definitely a product of it. And I reached out to a few people within the fitness community. They know who they are, and I was. You say sometimes it's hard enough to ask for help, and I reached out to one or two people, you know, and their trainers, and I'm not sure if they knew who I was, probably not. And I said, you know, what's your schedule like? And I was willing to obviously pay for their services to be able to get myself back on track. And I don't know if it's once they saw who I was or anything, I don't think they believed it, but I actually genuinely needed the help at the time, and they didn't actually respond in the manner. But then I thought of it as a blessing in disguise. Yeah, they probably didn't think so. I mean, I don't know. I never spoke to them about it afterwards, or spoke to them about that. But now, when probably they might see, you know, different things happening, that was a critical stage to be able to kind of almost, you know, you put your hand out and you try to kind of get a little bit of, you know, support. Being a male in the fitness industry, having been fortunate enough and humble enough to be recognized for, you know, Coach of the Year or whatever it was at the time. Actually, you do remember that. You know, trying to reach out to people just because you admire their skill set, and I never ever claimed to be the best at everything. I always wanted to learn. So maybe they saw Coach of the Year and they thought, why is he speaking to me? It's because, well, I wanted to respect your skill set so enough to come out to you and pay for your services to learn what you're doing, because I need that. See, so that's where my opinion is on the community at the time. But now I'm starting to see a lot of people reaching out and a lot of people supporting each other more. And I always said this, and I said it in 2008 when I moved here, and I say it in 2020. The industry can sometimes get so caught up in competition that they forget why we're here, and that's to help. And that's exactly what I've said in 2008. I've seen it throughout my time here, 12 years. Yeah. And I'm really happy that we are genuinely now seeing, you know, professionals like yourself and a few others out there that are helping people, you know.
Right, we're going to come back. I've got lots of burning questions, but I know we're going to take a short break.
All right.
Guys, we'll be back shortly after this, and if you have comments, questions, you may be watching the replay, the live one, put them in the comment section down below. We'll try and answer those ones for you. Back soon. Peace. back here at Find for People, the platform how to find the best in health, sports, and fitness. We're talking to fitness celebrities, and I've got a celebrity right here for you. Booyah! He's the author of the book Reset, that's just out now. If you go to stores, check it out. It talks about your wellness, your true wellness, how to achieve true wellness. If I read off the back here, it's about both body and mind, and there's lots of I like that word actually, golden nuggets.
Yeah.
As we're talking, you can see, I can hear them, I can understand that there will be definitely some golden nuggets in here.
Yeah.
We're talking about one of the dominoes in the book, and it's about mental health and wellness, and we've gone down to where basically we talk about males in the position. Females, don't be wrong, but there's a lot of males, and we've gone through this experience ourselves, where when you ask for help, or when you've been asked for help, and the reactions people have on either side of that spectrum. Do you want to share your experience first on that one, or?
You go.
Okay.
Yeah, I like what you said. You go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just bring this up because for myself, like beforehand, I've been through Les Mills, and this is one of the problems we talk about with mental health, and one of my things is that I was working with Les Mills, was international. I was traveling around teaching, training, stuff like that. I was on these DVDs they sent around, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. It was just like, it was cool fun. I really enjoy it. And when I look back, I was like, oh wow, I got the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, I probably wasn't as grateful as I should have been during that time set, right? Anyway, so during this time, people would come up to me all the time, and I suppose now thinking about it, they looked at me as an inspiration or a motivation to be better, or to change maybe their lifestyle and improve their life.
Benchmark.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
I definitely get asked about just sitting down and talking with them. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't even necessarily about fitness as a whole. It was just to talk.
Yeah.
Maybe little problems that they face, and I'm talking about brothers back in New Zealand.
Right.
A lot of Māori men are very proud that if you're seen as being weak, or if you're asking for help, you're seen as weak,
Mm-hmm.
and not a cool thing. So that's what was perceived as. And I remember being asked, and it was by a couple of brothers, and the first couple of times that someone asked me, I kind of brushed it off as like, oh, the wrong person to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize at the time that, look, this person has broken out of maybe a depression or a shallow space to just at least buck up the courage to first ask me.
Yeah.
And by me simply being, oh, bro, you're sweet as, don't worry about it, it's like throwing it back in the face. It had a negative effect. It wasn't meant or intentional, but I've seen that I definitely noticed it afterwards.
Right.
That I should have been more like, look, just be more, because I had the same kind of New Zealand Māori fella, and I was like, oh, okay, bro, you'll be sweet as, don't worry about it. And that kind of tough exterior.
It's the culture.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Thing, and there's a lot of people surrounded by it. So the whole, there was that side of it, the one asked for help and then giving that negative response, but then having to learn, and not knowingly learn, but just then to go, like, anyone else asks me now these days, I'll talk about it 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I get asked about friends, how can I help my friend come out of the state? So
Yeah.
I'll talk about that, like just how to be open, or just to be there to listen, or just be understanding, or help change the environment, or those kind of things.
Yeah.
So it was kind of
It's tough.
moment.
It's
tough. It's very tough.
It's tough, and the thing you say about that is we live in a world now that's very visual, and mental health is internal. So as I said before, when it comes to mental health, I'm definitely a product of it. I don't claim to be an expert. There's people that studied it, are far more in the right space to kind of talk about it. But one thing I will say is it's a very lonely place, and it's a very lonely place with people around you. So you're inside this shell, and you start to make decisions with in mind the battle you're facing within before you even responded to someone outside.
Yeah.
And that's probably where the moment you are able to evolve is the moment you're able to accept your past, the mistakes you've made, because sometimes, and I'm sure you can relate to this, you have a good intention, you have a good faith to do things the right way, but you're not in that space to be able to do them. And then you come across one or two people, and they're very good people. And as I said, we live in a visual world, so whatever your actions are, they might hold on to that. And by holding on to that, that's all of a sudden been your title or your caption is that, and I use caption because it's very relevant to 2020 and the way we see everything. Because now, if you type in mental health, hashtag mental health, whatever, and you click on it, you now get to see what is about it. Back then, we couldn't. And the moment I had let those things go, mistakes that I had made, and the regrets that I had, is the moment I was able to move on and help others. Because you can't help anyone else if you haven't helped yourself, if you haven't cared about yourself, if you haven't shown that love to yourself. And it's not even in an arrogant way, it's more in a real way, because now you're able to give to your family, to your wife, to your mom, to your partner, to whoever it is. You're able to give more because you've accepted those things. And that's kind of why I say I'm a product of it, and hopefully people can relate to it. I posted something on Instagram when I was in the US recently, because we were talking about this off air as well. I didn't actually receive my copy. You know, I'd been spending all this time, everything's digital nowadays, so I'd spent so much time, over 220 emails, perfecting proofreading, getting through the book. And then finally, once I'd approved everything, I traveled to the US with my wife, and then it was out on platforms for people to buy and everything, and people were starting to purchase it before I'd got my first copy. I was like, wait, I need to see my copy first. And you know, so it was nice, and it was overwhelming to see that. But why I say that, because when I finally posted something on Instagram saying Reset is out, guys, I'm very, very overwhelmed. The fact that I can give something to, you know, not just the fitness industry, to all the industries regarding your health, because that is something that we cannot take for granted. It's out now. It covers physical, mental, gut health, resetting your environment, and recovery. And when I said all those things, all of a sudden, the comments, funny enough, most of them were responding to the mental health small caption. Wow. And that's what you and I spoke about. And then I started to get messages from people saying, thank you so much for putting this out. They haven't read it yet, but it's definitely a topic we'll be looking into. And I'm thinking, then I've achieved what I wanted to achieve before even releasing the book to myself, you know, because now people are like, you know what, we can read this. And now I'm thinking, if it's someone who's 10, 15 years younger, that's even better. If it's someone that's 10, 15 years older, they might be experiencing that at this time of their life, this stage of life. Perfect. So when people say, well, what's the demographic? And health has no demographic. You know, we all have people in our family who suffer from diabetes, and who suffer from cancer, and suffer from all these things. But the mental side as well is just as much of a killer as any of these things. So that's kind of, you know, the empathy behind this book.
Loving it. I wish you'd go, my mind, I'm going like, I want to talk for hours. But unfortunately, we do have to finish it up there. But guys, before Omar takes up, we'll bring it back as quickly as possible, you know, continue the conversation. Where can they find the book?
They can find it on Amazon, on Jamalon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and iBookstore.
iBookstore, cool.
Yeah.
Is there a store in Dubai you can buy it from physically at all?
At the moment, we're working on that, but I think everyone's purchased online. Yeah. But there will be a launch mid-Feb. There will be a launch, a reset launch mid-Feb. I will announce all dates on my Instagram very soon, and that will be, you know, inviting everyone down to be able to purchase the book physically.
Cool, awesome, brilliant.
Yeah.
And can I do it through your website as well? Because we've got your website here. We're going to check that one. There you go. There's the website.
Yeah, the website is getting that nice makeover at the moment.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, it's getting that reset makeover.
You go to the salon, you can get it all out, and then it was another thing I was going to ask you too, and I've just completely made too much fun, bro. With you, it's just too much fun.
It's always a good time, man.
Good times. Guys, if you got any comments, questions, please chuck them in the comments section. Definitely, if you want to reach out, please reach out, and I'll chuck his Instagram, his Facebook, I'll chuck those details down in the comment section down below, so you can touch base, reach out, meet up. Yo, you know, you'd be super famous. Probably the last time we actually get to speak.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. It hasn't stopped in 12 years. It's not going to stop now, that's for sure.
So, guys, check the details, and remember, this is a platform how to find the best in health, sports, and fitness. Until next time, take care, much love, peace.
We've all
Awesome,
been
man.
there, hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you've posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.